If you're looking for an awesome product at a great price, be sure to check out the link in the description. The state of Queensland is facing mounting criticism as newly released figures reveal a significant increase in land clearing, prompting environmental groups to issue urgent warnings. According to the data, over 332,000 hectares of forest and woodland were bulldozed across Queensland in the fiscal year 2022-23, an area exceeding 1,000 times the size of the Sydney CBD. This represents a 3% increase from the previous year and has sparked concerns that the state remains the deforestation capital of Australia, as described by some conservationists. A significant portion, nearly 44%, of the cleared land is within the Great Barrier Reef catchment areas, contributing to nutrient and sediment runoff. This poses an added threat to the already vulnerable coral reefs, which are suffering from the effects of climate change and frequent bleaching events. The Queensland Conservation Council highlights that this clearing rate equates to over 140,000 hectares per year within the Great Barrier Reef catchment, a distressing statistic that exacerbates the pressures on the ecosystem. The data reveals that a concerning 21% of the land clearing, approximately 70,799 hectares, involved remnant woodland, untouched or resembling pristine forest. This represents an 8% increase and highlights the destruction of crucial habitats for biodiversity and endangered species like the koala and greater glider. Environmental advocates argue that the government's vegetation management strategies are failing, evidenced by the alarming rise in remnant woodland clearing. The Australian Conservation Foundation echoes these concerns, stating that the increase in the destruction of remnant forests and woodland is catastrophic for Queensland's wildlife. Furthermore, an estimated 86% of the clearing was attributed to pasture expansion, while 77% of the clearing fell under Category X, meaning it did not require a permit under the state's vegetation management laws. The Brigalow and Mulga lands regions were identified as hotspots for this activity. Adding to the controversy, the report indicates that around 33,000 hectares of cleared land lacked a clear explanation, potentially indicating unlawful clearing. Despite a relatively small portion of the total clearing, less than 1%, taking place in areas containing endangered ecosystems, it represents a 21% increase compared to the previous year, drawing further criticism. The Queensland Conservation Council has expressed distress at this trend, underscoring the urgency of the situation. The council also points out that much of the pastoral clearing is not being assessed for its environmental impact, urging federal intervention. The Wilderness Society echoes these concerns, emphasizing that the conversion of land for pasture remains a primary driver of destruction. The Society emphasizes that clearing forests in Queensland jeopardizes vulnerable species and worsens the impacts of climate change. The release of the Queensland data comes on the heels of figures from New South Wales, which reported a 40% surge in land clearing. The state government has been approached for comment regarding the recently released figures. These developments underscore the ongoing challenges faced by environmental protection in Australia, highlighting the need for stricter regulations and effective management strategies to safeguard the country's biodiversity and combat the effects of climate change. The situation paints a concerning picture, suggesting an urgent need for a reassessment of current land clearing practices and a strengthened commitment to conservation efforts. The environmental implications are profound,